All right, thank you so much for showing up, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to begin in a few minutes. We like to say that breakfast is served, is ready. Please, you could walk up to the table behind you to pick your breakfast, tea, and what you just need to do in 5 minutes. Thereafter, we'll have our president and some of our security agencies working for us to start. Please, time now is for the light refreshment. Please walk up to the table behind you to pick your refreshment. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to announce the arrival of the President and Chairman of Council, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Engineer Lcci. Also arriving is the Prince Julius Lcci, OFR, together with the security agents that are here this morning. Thank you so much, sirs. Thank you so much. On that note, I'd like us to officially start the 2026 SCCI Security Meet Business Dialogue Series. This is the 10th edition of this series. It's been running for the past 10 years. Once again, I'd like to welcome all of us to today's event. Please, we do begin with the national anthem. I'd like to urge that we please be upstanding as we take the national anthem to start the event today. Thank you so much. Do have your seat. I'd like to once again recognize the presence of our leaders here present this morning. Please permit me to begin from the SCCI side. We have with us this morning the President and Chair of Council, Engineer Lcci. Let's put hands together for the President. Thank you so much. Together with us this morning, we have the Deputy President of the Chamber, Prince Abimbola Olani Yolashore, FCA. Let's put hands together for the Deputy President. Thank you so much. We have a retinue of our Vice President here present this morning. We have Princess Funlayo Bakari Okewo, the Chair of Trade Promotion and the Vice President at the Chamber. Let's put hands together for her. We have also Vice President Sir Ladi Smith, FCA, here present this morning. Sir Ladi Smith, good morning, sir. Welcome. We have also Engineer Okoyemi Aminun, also Chair of the Advocacy Committee here at SCCI. Welcome, sir. With us also we have our brother, Mr. Kola, Ambassador Kola Aderi, Vice President here at SCCI. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. I saw the treasurer of the chamber sometime somewhere, Gio Benga Boyega Olambi Waninu, sometimes FCIB. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have the deputy treasurer here also, Mrs. Aderonke Adeyegbe. Thank you, ma, for joining us this morning. You can see that we have the full house from SCCI this morning. Our leader is here, a member of the BOT, Dr. Aderemi Abraham Alo, FCIB. Let's put hands together for him, sir. Thank you so much. We also have with us the past president here at SCCI, Ashiwaju Omoba, Dr. Olaole Cole, MFR, CON. Let's put hands together for Omoba Olaole Cole. Thank you so much. We also have with us this morning our guest speaker is also a regular face with us at SCCI, Dr. Tope Fashua, FCA, Special Advisor to the President of Nigeria on Economic Affairs. He is here this morning representing the Vice President of the Federal Republic, Senator Kashim Shettima Mustafa, GCON. Let's put hands together for Dr. Tope. Thank you so much. Please permit me to specially recognize the chair of today's occasion. He is my father. I must say that with all pride. Prince Adewale Julius Adelusi Adeluyi OFR and MFR. Let's put hands together for Prince. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for doing us the honor and for making our state proud. Anywhere your name is mentioned, I'm happy to say I identify with you from that blessed state. All right, let me quickly recognize the presence of major security representative agencies that are here this morning in this order. Major General O.D. Williams, the Director, Veterans Africa Division, Defense Headquarters Abuja, representing the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede today. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. I'm also proud to say that Olufemi Oluyede will hail from the same state. As a matter of fact, the same town. So you discover that I'm very privileged this morning. Thank you so much, sir. Rear Admiral N.C. Ekwom, the Chief of Staff, Officer of the Western Naval Command, representing the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral I. Abbas. Let's put hands together for him. Assistant Commander General of Narcotics Commander Abubakar Leman Wali, Commander Lagos State Strategic Command, NDLEA, representing the Chairman of NDLEA, retired General Buba Marwa CON OFR. Let's put hands together for him. Thank you so much, sir, for good representation. Last but not the least, we have Deputy Commander of Corps, Michael Olumuyiwa, representing NSCDC Commander General Professor Abubakar Audi. Let's put hands together for him. Thank you, sir. Thank you for good representation today. On that note, we'd like to delve straight to what we have today. As you know, this is SCCI Security Meet Business Dialogue Series. I mentioned earlier that this is the 10th edition, a decade of excellence delivery of this series. Please put your hands together for the remarks by the SCCI President, Engineer Leye Kupoli. Please put your hands together enough for my president. Let's clap for him so well.
Good morning, all. I think you've done the protocol for Lagos Chamber. Our chairman, who is here today, who has always been our chairman for this security mean business. But one thing that's very peculiar where I'll be fidgeting is that I look for my biro so that we take enough note and lesson when Prince Julius Adeluyi pick up the telephone, the microphone. It will be another lecture room for many of us for wisdom and for many of us to take note. Thank you, sir, for sharing it again. And I'm sure many of us will be listening attentively to you and have a lesson of our life. Thank you, sir. We recognize you. Thank you for being here. And the military top brass that are here, we got talking. Major General O.D. Williams, thank you. He's from Lagos, Omaiko Gongo. And here today, I think at the course of thing today, you have something to take home. Not just for you, for the armed forces. Rear Admiral N.C. Eko, sir. I liked the uniform when I was growing up, and I told you, I said the highest I've ever been was to be a scout boy. But you are a naval guy. This uniform nearly resembles that of Prince Adeluyi because it's the same color. Thank you for being here. And everyone that have been represented here today, NDLA, I regard to our Oga, General Buba Mawa, that you are representing. A man of substance, a man of integrity. And I say, if not for you, many of us here may be insane because you kept those dangerous drugs away. Thank you for being here. And diplomatic corps that are here and my colleagues has been represented by the council and our past president here today, Ashiwaju Dr. Olawaliko. Thank you for finding time to be here. And our daddy that is here, ever young, near 90, if not 90, that's Dr. Alo. Thank you, sir. I want to welcome you to this 10th edition of SCCI Security Mid-Business Dialogue series. The dialogue series was created as a strategic platform to connect two inseparable pillars of a national prosperity: security and commerce. We are gathered here today to deepen the collaboration, shape policy direction, and confirm the reality of insecurity and foreign security involvement. No economy that can outperform its security architecture. Investors evaluate not only physical policies and market size, but also predictability of security environment, insurance costs, logistic pricing, tourism inflow, and even digital trade are influenced by how safe the country is perceived to be. In Nigeria, insecurity has become a measurable economic body, distorting production patterns and discouraging long capital and weakening consumer confidence. Distort farming activities, reduce food and supply, intensify inflationary pressure. Attack on transport corridor, increases delivery time. Cybercrime undermines trust in our digital finances, while kidnapping and terrorism impose what can be described as fear premium. Security is therefore a microeconomic variable that directly sharpen growth outcome. We need a structured public-private collaboration that can transform security from isolated government function into shared national responsibility. This environment requires intelligence-led operation, digital surveillance, capacity, and strong coordinated among security institutions and critical stakeholders, including community, traditional and religious leaders, economic regulator. While we are beginning to hear about possibility of a state police in Nigeria, we must continue to build on the capacity of community policing architecture currently in place in some places. Recent development in our security situation has attracted increased foreign involvement through intelligence cooperation and direct military surveillance and intervention. While such engagement can be strengthening domestic capacity when properly structured, foreign intervention must be carefully considered to train our frontline military personnel in intelligence gathering, hardware application, troop deployment, and surveillance technology. For the private sector, insecurity translates into three major categories of risk. Operational: factories shorten working hours, transport routes are altered, and supply chain becomes fragmented. Financially, firms face higher insurance premium, increased spending on private protection, elevate borrowing costs due to perceived instability. Investor can delay or relocate project to a safer jurisdiction, depriving local community of employment and infrastructure. Economic corridors such as port, highway, rail line, energy facility, data infrastructure must be treated as a national security asset, deserving special protection. Illegal mining, crude oil theft, armed trafficking, and illicit financial flow often have international outpoint. We commend the effort so far combining money laundering as illicit capital that can undermine honest earning. Recent events such as the Russia-Ukraine war, more recently, the US-Israel-Iran war, has continued to impact on global trading and economy. Huge budgets are now being allocated to fighting terrorism. Banditry are rising and homeland crime, especially in Africa. While we commend the significant allocation of defense in Nigeria, we expect this fund to be used effectively to enhance our security profile and secure economic activities across the nation. On behalf of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I affirm our commitment to deepen the public-private security collaboration, advocating evidence-based policy, protecting investor confidence, promoting national sovereignty, and ensuring that business remain stabilizing force in the society. Let this 10th edition of the Security Mean Business Dialogue series make a shift from discussion to coordination, from diagnostic to delivery, and from fear to foresight. We know we have a lot of success story in the last 10 years, which will be advised at the course of today's meeting. Thank you very much for listening to me. And as I've said, let's put our pen to paper, and we learn a lot of things from our panelists. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that heartwarming remarks. To say that we will learn today from Prince Julius at Lcci is another statement. I told you in the last 10 years that he's been the chair of this occasion. Each year comes in with very new perspective, wisdom from the stream of wisdom that God has given to him. I can assure you today, we will do learning when it comes to the time for him to make remarks. But just before he does, I like to have the goodwill from the presidency, just to mention that Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is an advocacy platform, and our relationship with the federal government of Nigeria is solid and robust. That's why today we have the representative of the Vice President of the Republic, Senator Ibrahim Kashim Mustafa Shetima, GCON, this morning represented by a brother and a friend of the House. Put your hands together for Dr. Tokpe Fasua, FCA. One of the best brains in this government, I must confess.
Thank you very much, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually here to read a very short speech on behalf of the Vice President, and I'll start by doing the protocols. I recognize the chairman of the occasion, the delectable and handsome daddy, and Prince Julius Adelusi Adelu OFR, the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce, Engineer Leye Kupolui, also deputy president here present, Prince Bimbo Olashuri, past president here present, especially Ashiwaju, Dr. Michael Olawale Cole, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Oluyede, here represented by Major General Williams, also the Chief of Naval Staff, here represented as well, the DG LCCI, Dr. Mrs. Alamona, representative of the DG NDLEA, General Buba Marwa, distinguished captains of industry, members of the diplomatic corps, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm profoundly honored to stand before this assembly of visionaries, risk-takers, and nation builders. To speak at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is to speak at the very altar of Nigerian enterprise. For over a century, this institution has been the barometer of our economic pulse, surviving world wars, global depressions, and the tempestuous waves of our own national evolution. We gather today at a pivotal junction in our history. The year 2026 finds Nigeria at a crossroads of immense promise and significant responsibility, as we have seen in recent global economic forecasts, and of course the recent and ongoing crisis in the Middle East and Iran. Nigeria has emerged as a top contributor to global growth still. But as any seasoned entrepreneur in this room will tell you, prosperity without security is a house built on shifting sands. Economic history is replete with the wreckage of nations that master the arithmetics of trade but ignore the grammar of security. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a man whose DNA is intertwined with the complexities of both commerce and governance, understands this better than most. He recognizes that the vibrant noise of the marketplace can only be sustained by the silent, vigilant guardianship of the state. Security as the bedrock of renewed hope. Since the inception of the renewed hope agenda, President Tinubu has remained steadfast in his conviction that security is not a standalone sector. It is the prerequisite for every other sector. We cannot talk about African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA, if our highways are contested. We cannot speak of digital Nigeria if our servers are under siege. Recently, the president took a series of decisive steps to rejig our security architecture. These decisions were not merely administrative shuffles. They were philosophical recalibrations. He has moved us from a doctrine of containment to a doctrine of preemption. The president's recent appointment of a new IG of police, for example, is a testament to this shift. This appointment was not based on the traditional dictates of turn by turn, but on a serious assessment of strategic competence and the ability to lead a 21st century police force that is data-driven and community-aligned. The new leadership is therefore tasked with a single mandate to restore the sanctity of the uniform and the confidence of the investor. Perhaps the most significant development in our recent security discourse is Mr. President's clarion call to the National Assembly to consider a constitutional framework for state policing. For too long, we have operated a centralized policing model in a decentralized federal reality. The atavistic adherence to a unitary security structure has often left our local communities and businesses vulnerable. By advocating for state policing, Mr. President is acknowledging that all security is local. A business at the heart of the Alaba International Market or an agribusiness in the lush plains of the middle belt of Nigeria requires a security response that is nuanced, localized, and immediate. State policing is not an invitation to regional fragmentation. It is an invitation to regional responsibility. It is about creating a multi-layered shield where the federal, state, and local forces operate in a symphony of intelligence and action. In our quest to economic ascendancy, we are confronted by a trinity of threats that require distinct yet integrated responses. The range of concerns stretch from unfortunate acts of pure terrorism to those incidents induced by a search for local, and then we must also worry about cyber crimes in the age of artificial intelligence. The Hydra-headed challenge is not meant to be a preserve of government, but for every Nigerian stakeholder, people, companies, organizations, and government alike. In the interconnected world, no nation is an island of security. President Tinubu has reinvigorated our international partnership, most notably with the United States of America. Our current collaboration with US forces is not about the surrender of sovereignty, but the sharing of strength. From the acquisition of the Super Tucano aircraft to high-level intelligence sharing and training exercises, our partnerships with Washington is focused on capacity building. We are learning from their technological edge, while they are learning from our boots-on-the-ground experience in asymmetric warfare. This synergy ensures that Nigeria's security forces are equipped with the best tools to protect both our domestic and foreign investment. Let us be clear, the president does not view security as a cost center. He views it as a growth driver. When a haulage company can move goods from Port Harcourt to Kano at 2 a.m. without fear, that is an increase in GDP. When a foreign investor sees the rule of law, he sees that the rule of law is backed by the power of enforcement. That is a boost to foreign direct investment. Mr. President is keenly aware of that the invisible hands of the market need the visible arm of security to function. The constant rejigging of our security heads is a reflection of a president who refuses to accept mediocrity. He is applying the same performance-based metrics to our generals that you apply to your CEOs. If the numbers don't add up, if the security incidents don't go down, the leadership will change. This is the accountability that the business community has long demanded. However, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the government cannot do this alone. Security is not a product you buy from the state. It is a climate that you help to create. I want to challenge the LCCI and the business community to move from being mere consumers of security to being co-producers of it. Many businesses treat security as an afterthought, an untrained guard at the gate, and a legacy firewall on the server. I urge you to invest in professional security risk management. Conduct regular audits. Train your staff institutional awareness. In the 21st century, a CSO, Chief Security Officer, is as vital as the Chief Financial Officer, CFO. We need your data. The private sector controls vast amounts of surveillance and logistical data. We must create a framework where private security data can feed into national intelligence grid, ensuring a faster response to threats. I commend those businesses that have donated vehicles and equipment to the police and our military forces over time, but we need to go further, invest in the soft side of security, youth employment, vocational training, and community engagement. A hungry man is a recruitment target for a criminal gang. By creating jobs, you are literally defunding the recruitment budget of terrorists. In conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, security management is not a destination. It is an unending quest. It is a continuous process of adaptation, innovation, and vigilance. There is no final victory, therefore, over crime. There is only the perpetual maintenance of order. Nigeria is at the cusp of a golden age. The sunshine state of our economy is rising, and the world is taking notice. But to bask in that sun, we must be prepared to weather the storms. President Tinubu is committed to providing the umbrella. He is committed to ensuring that your factories can hum, your shops can open, and your dreams can soar without the anchor of fear. Let us leave this dialogue not just with communique points, but with a renewed commitment to a partnership between the boardroom and the situation room, a partnership between the profit motive and the patriotic duty. As we look towards the horizon of 2030 and 2050, let it be said that in 2026, the Nigerian business community and the Nigerian government found a common language, the language of stability, the language of strength, and the language of an unbreakable Nigeria. May God bless the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and may God continue to bless, protect, and prosper the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good representation, I must confess, from Dr. Tokwe. Thank you so much. Just to mention that I will need a soft copy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You can all agree with me that when I said Dr. Tokwe is one of the brains that we have as very good tools, very good use of this present government, that is not in doubt. Once again, let's put hands together for Dr. Tokwe Faswell. Very good representation of the Vice President of the Republic, who says state policing is not a regional representation, it is a regional responsibility. That, for me, is key. It is a regional responsibility. And it is on that note, we are here this morning for this Security Meet Business Dialogue. All right? So it's appropriate at this time to have the remarks by the chairman of this occasion, very distinguished Nigerian. My father, again, I must confess, I'm proud to say that, you know, when you have your father doing well, you are proud to say he's your father, even when people know that he's your father, so you keep emphasizing it. He is my father, Prince Julius Adelusi Adewale Adeluyi, OFR. Let's put hands together for him.
First of all, it's interesting to be somebody's father, but in these days of Nigeria, perhaps a DNA would help. But here we are. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I was going to talk about Tokwe Fashua. Has he escaped? Has he got a visa to exit? Good. Olawale Cole, did you give him a visa to leave? Good. Wherever he is, I think Tokwe has done a good job representing Mr. Vice President. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, leaders of our security institutions, esteemed captains of industry, members of the diplomatic corps who are here, you can see a few of them. Some policymakers are here, representatives of government, and distinguished members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is both a privilege and a responsibility to address this distinguished gathering at this 10th edition of the Security Meets Business Dialogue. This indeed is a milestone, and 10 years of sustainability reflects not only longevity, but tenacity and vision on the part of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry and its leadership. It is therefore with respect that I would like to invite the President, the former presidents, and the current key officers of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce who are here present to please rise for an applause wherever you are. Thank you. On behalf of those of us who have been watching you do your thing for the chamber, and on behalf of the society that has in fact profited a lot from your activities, we want to thank you. We want to congratulate you, our dear brand new president, Engineer Lcci Kupolui, very young man who has fantastically looking gray hair. Don't be deceived. The only former vice president, the past president who is here, Oloye Olawale Cole, the president of the future, my dear son, DNA or no DNA, Olawore. But we must not live, those who have president or not president have stayed the course with us at every level. And I want to be proud in mentioning somebody called Dr. Remi Alo, who has been with us throughout in the last 50 years and more of activities in the chamber. Remy, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm happy that some of your dreams are occurring in your presence. I also want to, with respect, invite all of us to honor the representatives of the security forces. The security forces who have given their lives and who have sacrificed themselves to maintain, to sustain, and to promote peace in a very difficult society like ours. I would like the representatives of the security agencies that are here, there are 3 of them here now, and I want also the press to note this. I can't see them anymore. Shall we wait until some light comes up? These gentlemen who are here represent forces who have sacrificed their lives to maintain, to retain, to sustain the security of Nigeria and Nigerians over the years. So you will be seated here, and all of us will stand and give you an acclamation. It's not just the 3 of you. That's why I said I want the cameras to realize and to record the fact that Nigerians here are all uprising and they're applauding, appreciating the work that the security men do day and night for this country. Words are not enough. Please appreciate our competition. Please make it louder, make it louder. I hope somebody has recorded this so that they'll know the society and Nigerians in their totality appreciate you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Now, this is the 10th in the series. 10 consecutive years of sustained engagement. That tells a very powerful story. It tells us that the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry understood at a very early stage what many nations are only just now beginning to fully appreciate. And that is that security and economic prosperity are 2 sides of the same coin. I am proud of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. And those who have been in the Chamber of Commerce before you are proud of you. Remember that the Chamber of Commerce, Lagos, was started on the 5th of December, 1888. That will make it 138 years old now. So it's not a chamber or an entity that any government can or should take for granted. Please hold the flag high. And even if they don't call you so, you leaders of the chamber, you are true captains of industry. You remember that the term captain of industry was coined in 1843 by a gentleman called Thomas Carlyle, a Scottish writer and poet who wrote a book called Past and Present. And he was referring to those who were oiling the engines of economic progress at that time. That's what you are doing now at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. Maybe if Thomas Carlyle was writing now, he wouldn't call you captains of industry. He'd probably call you generals of industry. But whatever it is, permit me to congratulate you. Now, about 10 years ago, it was a good idea to have the dialogue. And today is an opportunity for us to do some kind of assessment. We all know that today our world confronts a different landscape of risks. We all know that threats are no longer confined to physical borders. For example, a cyber attack launched thousands of miles away can paralyze financial systems locally. Disinformation and misinformation can cause disturbances in markets immediately. And you are seeing the sign of it. Organized crime exploits technology faster and better than regulations can catch up with them. And that's why it's important for communication to improve between security and business. Misunderstanding between regulators and entrepreneurs often creates unnecessary friction. Businesses worry about unpredictability, and security institutions worry about compliance risks. And that's where dialogue comes in. Somebody would say, oh, dialogue, 10 years, what have you got out of it? I tell you, on this day, on the 5th of March, today is 5th of March, on this day, on the 5th of March, in 1946, Winston Churchill made one of the best speeches in his life. And that speech has been quoted again and again. It is called the Iron Curtain speech, in which he implied that even though the war, Second World War that is, was going down, there seems to be a curtain that has been introduced by Eastern Europe and Western Europe, which must not be encouraged to stay, the Iron Curtain, and that the only way to make sure that this doesn't happen is dialogue. You remember that is Iron Curtain speech introduced the Cold War series. He was then interviewed and asked, all this dialogue before World War, then the Second World War, what's the effect? Again, he made a response that has been recorded for history. And his words were, dialogue must continue. And he said 3 times, never, never, never give up on dialogue. So my first message to the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry is that you have done 10 years now. People would always ask, hey, what did you get out of it? Remember Churchill, never, never, never give up. And that's where you got the expression, jaw is better than war. So we shouldn't give up. A dialogue bridges the divide. Dialogue allows us to listen to ourselves before problems become crises. Dialogue allows policymakers to be informed by operational realities. Dialogue allows institutions to see each other not as obstacles, but as partners. As we continue with this dialogue, permit me to share a simple reflection with you, ladies and gentlemen. Please note that nations are not transformed only by policies written in offices. Indeed, nations are transformed by conversations held in rooms such as this. If you look at us now, we are about 70, 75 in this hall. Each of us is a control center for our constituencies. So this gathering has more gravitas than we assume. Nations are transformed by conversations in halls, just as we are in, where experience meets responsibility, where authority meets innovation, and where honesty meets courage. Now, for 10 years, under the leadership of the Lcci, this dialogue has brought together 2 powerful forces. First force is security. Second force is enterprise. Security protects. Enterprise produces. Security safeguards stability. Enterprise creates prosperity. And for these 10 years, they have coexisted. But distinguished ladies and gentlemen, coexistence is no longer sufficient. Because now and the future demands something greater than mere coexistence. In the analog days, coexistence was the parlance. But we've moved from analog to digital, and now we are in AI. And the rapidity with which things happen is such that unless you go beyond coexistence, Every party is imperiled. What we need now is partnership. Partnership that is true, partnership that is sincere, partnership that is communicated, partnership that will lead to active collaboration, because collaboration becomes strength. And that's why I'm happy now that at some stage later today, our dear CEO, Dr. Chinyere Almona, would give us a summary of the bill provisions and participate in the unveiling of the Lcci Veterans Bill. Please give them a round of applause. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there is an African proverb that says, when spiders bring their webs together, they can tie a lion. No single institution, no matter how powerful, can overcome today the security challenges we face. But if we are all united, government, security, and enterprise, through intelligence sharing, ethical leadership, innovation, and mutual respect, we can build resilience strong enough to protect not just our investment, not just our security, but also society at large. Please remember that security is not just measured by the absence of crime. It is not judged only by the number of officers parading the streets. More often, it is judged by the number of our citizens who sleep at night without fear. And that's what we've been discussing for the last 10 years. Security is also measured by the kind of hope you give to the people. Hope to business people that they can be stable in their business and expand. Hope to the young people that they can dream dreams, start businesses and grow businesses. And hope that investors can commit capital without hesitation. And hope that tomorrow would be better, including the fact that the LCCI would hope that future dialogues will be even more productive. But ladies and gentlemen, hope is not created by mere ornamental speeches. Anybody can make a speech. Hope is created by action. So, as we leave this hall, let the action begin. As we leave this hall, let the dialogue continue. The dialogue should begin again in the boardrooms of the captains of industry. It should begin again in the command centers. It should begin in the policy rooms, in the media houses, in the national and state assemblies, along the diplomatic avenues. The dialogue should continue wherever decisions are to be made. Therefore, we should not live here just saying we are inspired. We must be committed. We must be committed to communicate better about problems before they become crises. We must be committed to a partnership before pressures become unbearable. We must be committed to preventing problems before reaction becomes frustrating. Remember that ultimately, history will not remember how many conferences we have organized. History will only remember whether we worked together whenever and wherever it mattered most as partners. My prayer, ladies and gentlemen, is that may the conversations we started 10 years ago and we are continuing here become collaborations. May these collaborations become innovations. May the innovations generate national progress. And may Nigeria, as a result of all this dialogue and efforts of LCCI and security, may Nigeria, our own very, very dear land, our own dear native land, may Nigeria become a safer, a more prosperous leader nation, not only in Africa, but in the world at large. We can do it. So help us God. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that powerful remarks. I'm assured that at this age that God has given you opportunity to be and that you will still continue to be with us, every prayer that you offer and that you will offer, I want to assure you, sir, that God will always grant you. This one you have prayed for us as a country, God will grant it. So I believe, and so it is. Once again, thank you so much, Prince. All right, we like to do a quick one. The unveiling of the SCCI Veteran Bill, but just before we go fully to the unveiling session, we'll have the Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, my direct boss, the Dr. Chinyere Peace Almona, FCA, come up to give us the summary of what the bill is all about and what is expected. Please put your hands together for Dr. Chinyere Almona.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to stand on existing protocols. On behalf of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I respectfully acknowledge the presence of our chairman of the occasion, Prince Julius Adelusi Adeluyi, OFR. Please put your hands together again for him. And for that wonderful speech. I took notes, by the way. I don't know if any other person took notes. I took notes. I also acknowledge our esteemed speakers, representatives of the federal government, our security institutions, leaders of the private sector, members of the chamber, and all distinguished participants present today. Today's dialogue reflects the Chamber's long-standing commitment to strengthening the relationship between security and economic prosperity, and to contribute constructively to national development. The Veteran Welfare and Reintegration Bill 2026, which we are about to unveil, is designed to establish a comprehensive framework for the welfare, protection, and reintegration of veterans of the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Nigerian Police Force who have served our nation with courage and sacrifice. The bill proposes structured provisions for healthcare access, employment and economic empowerment, housing and mortgage support, periodic pension review, and education support for dependents, alongside the establishment of a Veteran Affairs Commission and a transparent Veteran Welfare Fund with opportunities for responsible private sector participation. Overall, the legislation aims to honor the service of Nigerian veterans, those who have defended our nation, by providing structured support systems that enhance their dignity, well-being, economic participation, and long-term security. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the unveiling of this bill today represents an important step in encouraging collaboration between government, the private sector, and national institutions to strengthen the welfare architecture for our veterans. It is therefore my honor to invite our chairman of the occasion, Prince Julius Adeluyi OFR, and the president of the chamber, Engineer Leah Kupoluyi, to unveil the bill, and then we'll have a photo op with the security representatives here. So let's do over there. So we'll have
move it to the middle, right? I think so.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this looks like a bride. We are now going to be unveiling this particular bill on this 5th day, special day of March 2026 on behalf of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. To my left is our boss, political boss, and on my right is our boss, executive boss. And we will all do the unveiling together, please. 1, 2, 3. Please give me a hand of that. Thank you very much.
Yes. DCP Bello Mohammed, please join us, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's hold on. Let's allow DCP to join us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please. One more. Okay. Past President Asiwaju Michael Olawale Cole, please join us, sir. The Deputy President, Prince Abimbola Olani Olashore, FCA, please join us, sir. Thank you, sir. Also to join us is our father in the house, Dr. Abraham Aderemi Alo, FCIB. Please join us, sir. Okay. Please, the representative of the Civil Defense, please let's join us also. Thank you, sir. I need to get you a copy. Are we good? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, let's do back to our seats. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. With that ceremony over, we'd like to come to what appears to be the key focus of today. But just before we get to the remarks from the security institutions that are present, I'd like to especially recognize, it came in when the chair was making his remarks. Please put your hands together for DCP Bello Mohammed, representing the AIG Zone 2 here in Lagos. Thank you, sir. Thank you for showing up. I must confess that every year we have the representative of the police here with us for the past 10 years. Thank you so much. So we'll take the next sessions we are going into now will be very interactive. But just before the session, we'd like to have, just for about 2 or 3 minutes, comment from the security agencies that are here represented. After those comments, we'll take the first set of comments. Then we have the dialogue proper from the room where questions, engagement, which is the core of why we are here today, can then take place. So first, please put your hands together for the representative of NSCDC to make his comment, just about 2-3 minutes. Please put your hands together for him. Yes, come up, sir. Just like 2-3 minutes, then there will be other engagement. Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the high table, my very senior military personnel present. I want to stand on the existing protocol. I'm here this afternoon to represent the Commandant General, who is unavoidably absent, and he has sent me to come around and represent him. Indeed, it's a great pleasure to be here in your midst, and it did me fit to let us know that even though it's not physically present, but all what is being done here and the decision taken, he abides by it. And when he saw the invitation concerning the unveiling of the vegetarian bill, he really showed much concern that even the captains of industries could have concern for military and paramilitary officers after their retirement. I want to bring to our notice that the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has made significant efforts to ensure that we have a secured environment where businesses, both local and foreign, can flourish. And that is why in our Acts of 2007, Section 3, we have some basic information that I want to just pass across, which many of us may not be aware. And that is the protection of critical national assets and infrastructure. You agree with me that currently a lot of work has been done in these aspects and in this regard. We have made effort to make sure that all infrastructure across the whole federations are secured for businesses to flourish in the country. And this we have done and to secure by posting our men to various government installations and private companies where industries are being constructed for security purpose. And we make sure that offenders of the law are punished. Presently, we are monitoring the optic cables that is being laid presently, that is ongoing. And many of those people that are involved who have been prosecuted under the Anti-Terrorism Act and Cyber Crime Act. We also carry out what we call monitoring of disaster management in and around the country. Whenever there are needs, we participate in rescue operations and secure life and property. Also, we also carry out protection of agro-allied investments. We monitor the movement of agricultural goods from the country, from the point of entry to the point of delivery. And we ensure that it is delivered at the right place to the right final consumer. We also carry out intelligence gathering and some other VIP protection duties, which many of us must have known. Recently, operations were carried out to safeguard the mining sector of our economy, to make sure that at least the environment is secure for businesses to flourish. And also, we want to say that we ensure that investors' confidence are really created this time around. And with other more functions, we monitor, supervise, and license private guard security companies that are being utilized by investors in the various industries to safeguard their companies. And all these things are ways whereby we want to have a secured environment and the role that we play. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Like I said, that will be a very good avenue for proper engagement. So I just want us to, do our opening speech, opening thought for like 2 minutes. So next is our police. So we have our brother and leader, DCP Bello Mohammed. Put your hands together for him, representing the AIG Zone 2 here in Lagos, for his opening remarks. 2 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The chairman, sir, members of the high table, gentlemen and women, ladies and gentlemen, sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Bello Adamu Mohammed, DCP. I'm here to represent Zone 2 Police Headquarters, Onekon, Lagos, on behalf of my AIG, now DIG, Fayode Adegoke, MNI, PSC. I was informed about this event yesterday evening, and he told me that I should be with the chairman and other participants. I'm very grateful to be here. The AIG is presently in Abuja, attending to some other engagement with the new IG, and he gave me a note which he said that he has been attending these conferences for the past 10 years. And for that, he would not like this year to be an exception. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to go ahead and present his remarks as given. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Nigerian Police Force derives its authority from the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and statutory laws regulating policing functions. In recent years, the Nigerian Police Force has undertaken series of reforms aimed at strengthening its capacity in response to modern security challenges. That directly and indirectly affect business operations. Security forms the bedrock in which economic growth, social harmony, and political stability rest. Without it, governance falter, investment evaporate, and trust collapse. According to the World Bank 2023 Governance Index, countries that consistently improve internal security recorded average GDP growth rate 3.5 times, 2.3 times higher than those trapped in cycles of insecurity. In Nigeria, we have learned from experience that threat to national security often translate directly into threat to business continuity. From disruption caused by insurgency to economic toll of oil theft, then cyber attacks targeting financial institutions, down to the recent incident of kidnapping and kidnapping for ransom. The line between national security and business security has been virtually indistinguishable. Strategies measures in curbing insecurity and promoting economic prosperity. The Nigerian Police Force, in its effort to mitigate the rise in security, has adopted a series of measures, which includes: 1, community policing initiatives. The adoption of community policing models seek to build trust between the law enforcement and the populace, thereby fostering intelligence, strong network to enhance early threat detection, particularly in commercial hubs and industrial zones. 3, technology-driven policing. Security threats in the 21st century are less visible but more prevalent, and the security landscape has become more increasingly digitalized. Cybercrime, financial fraud, and misinformation campaigns now pose as much danger as physical violence. A single cyber attack in a financial institution can paralyze an entire financial ecosystem, compromise national data sovereignty, and erode public confidence. To cope this, technologies such as artificial intelligence, data analysis, drone surveillance, and biometric have been adopted to form the backbone of modern policing, and this has begun with the Cyber Crime Unit and the Digital Forensic Laboratory under the Force Criminal Investigation Department, Force CID in Abuja and Lagos. Mr. Chairman, we have some challenges also. Some of the challenges, despite measurable effort by the police, include structural challenges, technological gaps in surveillance and forensic investigations, public trust deficit arising from allegation of misconduct. Mr. Chairman, we have recommendations on the recommendation to further strengthen the Nigerian police force role, fostering a conducive investment in Nigeria. The following recommendations are outlined. 1, capacity building and professional training. This is necessary in areas of financial crimes investigation, counterterrorism, and corporate security management to enhance professionalism and efficiency. 3, transparency and accountability. There is a need to strengthen internal oversight unit, to strengthen internal oversight unit and independent complaint review mechanism for the purpose of transparency and building public trust. 3, institutional modernization. Investigating in smart policing technologies, surveillance system, forensic laboratories, data analysis, cybersecurity unit should be prioritized in this digital era. 4, strengthening public-private security partnership. There is the need for collaboration between the police and organized private sector, including security advisory councils. 5, legislative and policy support reforms. This clarifies operational autonomy while maintaining democratic oversight to ensure strategic coherence. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, the Nigerian police force remains a pivotal institution in the country's socio-economic architecture. Security is the bedrock upon which investment confidence rests. While challenges persist, ongoing reforms and strategic realignment demonstrate a commitment to foster a secured environment conducive to both local entrepreneurship and the foreign investors. Yes. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of my IGP Olatunji Rilwan Disu, PSC, I reaffirm our unwavering commitment to make Nigeria safe for all citizens and investors who have chosen to bring their capital, skills, confidence to our great nation. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Like I said, engagement session is loading, but just before we move there, we like to bring up for his own 2 minutes the representative assistant commander general of narcotics, Commander Abubakar Lima Wali from the NDLEA, representing the chair of the organization, retired General Buba Marwa CON. Let's put hands together for him.
Mr. Chairman, the President and Council of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, distinguished stakeholders, my very senior colleagues in the military, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, I would like to, in brief, highlight a strategic position of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. And our strategic position here is supports the proposed Veteran Welfare Bill as a critical national security, public health, and social stability initiative. From the angle of NDLEA, we have recognized three key risk considerations. Has to do with these veterans. Veterans transition to civilian life may face the following risk: psychological stress and operational trauma. 2, loss of structured environment and income instability. Then 3, social isolation and poor reintegration. So with this, I think it's a very good initiative. We commend the effort of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. On this note, I want to announce that I'm here representing my Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, retired General Muhammad Marwa, COF, OFR. I'm honored to represent the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA at this 10th edition of the Security Meet Business Dialogue series. The NDLEA recognizes that security and economic prosperity are inseparable. A safe and stable environment is essential for investors, both local and foreign, to operate with confidence. Drug trafficking and substance abuse pose significant threats to national security, workforce productivity, public health, and ultimately to investors' confidence. In response, the agency continues to intensify intelligence-led operations, strengthen border control measures, secure our ports and airports, and expand drug demand reduction initiatives across communities and workplaces. Our goal is clear: to ensure that Nigeria remains a secure and attractive destination for legitimate business. We firmly believe that security is a shared responsibility, collaboration between law enforcement agencies and the organized private sector, as championed by Lcci. It's vital in sustaining economic growth and stability. On behalf of the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, I commend the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry for this important initiative and the unveiling of the proposed Veteran Welfare Bill, which demonstrates commitment to national service and social responsibility. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you great congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Next, to give us his opening remarks is Rear Admiral N.C. Ekom, the Chief Staff Officer of the Western Naval Command, representing the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral I. Abbas. Please put your hands together for him for his 2-minute comment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, DMC. The Chairman, Prince Julius Lcci Adewale, the President, fellow panelists, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to rest on the already properly established protocol. But before I speak, before I make the remark, I will request to quickly appreciate the Chairman for that very unique and indeed uncanny recognition of the sacrifices and commitments of our brothers and sisters in uniform all over this country. I mean, that was quite heartwarming. It's a morale booster, and we know that morale is a force multiplier. So we thank you very much for that, and I would think most Nigerians will take cue from from that. Thank you so much. So I am Radmira NCA Kwom, and I'm here to represent the Chief of Naval Staff. I will go ahead and read the remarks. It is a great honor for me to represent the Chief of Naval Staff on this auspicious occasion of a security meets business dialogue, convened at a critical moment in our national history. It is a dialogue between the two fundamental pillars upon which our nation depends. Nigeria is a country that is endowed with enormous human and natural resources for quick development. However, no development can take place in an environment where insecurity thrives. Therefore, security is a very serious business. It's no longer an exclusive domain of members of the armed forces or law enforcement agencies. It is a shared national responsibility involving government institutions, communities, private business owners. Therefore, business owners are strategic partners in building the necessary resilience we require for our economy, for our nation to thrive. This dialogue, I think, provides the opportunity for us to examine the impact of security on business continuity, supply chain management, that is movement of goods around the country, and indeed even in foreign direct investments. When security is guaranteed, business thrives responsibly and communities will be positioned to grow sustainably. As we deliberate today, I encourage an open-minded and solution-oriented discussions. Gentlemen, let us identify those policies that will work today. Let us build those partnerships that will deliver results that we can even scale nationwide. In conclusion, may this dialogue serve as a turning point where the trust and the relationship between business owner and security institutions will be densified, will be deepened, where collaborations will replace fragmentations, and synergy will replace silos. At this point, I want to wish you fair winds and following seas as we discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So for his own comment, we'll have Major General O.D. Williams, the Director, Veterans African Affairs Division, Defense Headquarters from Abuja, representing the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluyede, for his comment. Let's please welcome Major General O.D. Williams.
The chairman of this occasion, Prince Julius Adelusi Adelui, OFR, the president of the LCCI, past president of LCCI, permit me to stand on this already established protocol. I am Major General Oluwafemi Daniel Williams, the Director of Veteran Affairs Division, Defense Headquarters. I'm representing the Chief of Defense Staff here. I bring warm greetings from the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Olufemi Oluyede, Armed Forces Medal. Let me use this opportunity to extend the sincere apologies of the Chief of Defense Staff, who would have loved to be here for this very important dialogue series, but he had to attend to other pressing national engagements. Now to the remark. It is an honor to participate in this 10th edition of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry Security Meets Business Dialogue Series, which is expected to culminate into the Chamber's unveiling of the proposed Veteran Welfare Bill. This platform directly acknowledges the fundamental realities that security is the bedrock of economic growth. Please note that market flourishes where stability exists. Investment flows where security is assured. And innovation thrives where people feel safe to take risk. This dialogue therefore sits at the very heart of our national aspiration to build a resilient, competitive, and prosperous economy. For the armed forces of Nigeria, security is a practical and enduring responsibility centered on safeguarding life, livelihood, and the nation's long-term stability. The restoration of safety along roads, across waterways, and within communities establishes the foundation upon which enterprises thrive. Our personnel deployed in operations recognize that they serve the citizen in every space, whether farmers, traders, manufacturers in the marketplace function as a strategic partner in nation building. The contemporary security environment is complex, dynamic, and shaped by terrorism, banditry, crude oil theft, cyber-enabled crime, and transnational networks that exploit economic vulnerabilities. In response, the armed forces of Nigeria have adopted a more agile, intelligence-driven, and technology-enabled approach. Joint operations across land, maritime, and air domains have been intensified with collaboration with sister services and other security agencies has deepened. We prioritize the protection of critical national assets, which include energy infrastructure, transportation corridors, ports, industrial clusters, and commercial hubs, because these are the arteries of our national economy. By securing these spaces, we reduce risk, lower the cost of doing business, and reinforce investors' confidence. Beyond physical security, we recognize that a conducive environment also depends on professionalism, accountability, and respect for the rule of law. Under my leadership, the armed forces of Nigeria are strengthening civil-military relations, enhance human rights compliance, and building trust with the communities. The security that is perceived fair and predictable in itself, an economic enabler. It assures investors that Nigeria is not only capable of protecting assets, but committed to creating an environment governed by law and order, transparency, and stability. This approach aligns our operational objectives with economic priorities and underscores my strategic philosophy, which is to consolidate the capabilities of the armed forces of Nigeria through enhanced jointness for a reinforced operational posture, supported by improved welfare of efforts, sound administration, aimed at ensuring the armed forces maintain its core military fundamentals of guaranteeing Nigerian sovereignty and prosperity under a whole-of-government approach. In recent times, the armed forces of Nigeria has played key role in restoring confidence across key economic corridors and communities, creating the stability upon which business thrive. Through sustained operation against insurgency, banditry, and crude oil theft, security has improved along our highways, in agriculture belts, and around critical national infrastructures. Farmers have returned to their fields, traders are moving goods with greater assurance, and investors are re-engaging in areas once considered high risk. Beyond combat operations, the military has supported civil authorities with disaster response, infrastructure protection, and community engagement, reinforcing the trust between citizens, the military of our beloved country. These efforts are quite but powerful, reshaping the operational environment by reducing uncertainty, lowering the cost of doing business, and laying a firmer foundation for enterprise growth and national prosperity. Accordingly, this dialogue series exemplifies the strategic value of partnership. When security agencies listen to the concerns of the business leaders, and when investors understand the realities of the security space, we build synergy rather than suspicion. The Armed Forces of Nigeria remains unwavering in its commitment to a nation that is safe, stable, and open for business. We will continue to adopt, collaborate, and innovate in service of peace and prosperity. Together, we can ensure that security becomes not a barrier, but a catalyst that is transforming Nigeria into a destination where enterprises thrive, confidence grows, and the promises of our nation is fully realized. On this note, I look forward to a very fruitful deliberations during this event. Once again, I thank the organizers and all of you for the invitation. God bless the LCC, God bless the Armed Forces of Nigeria, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that good representation of the Chief of Defense Staff. All right, at this point, I told you there will be a dialogue session. This session will be moderated by the chairman of this occasion. So I want to hand you over to the chair, Prince Julius Adelusi Adewale Adelui, OFR.
Right, it says to go to the next stage. There are about 3 rows here, the left, the right, and the center. We'll take 3 questions per block. We would warehouse these sentences and these questions. May we appeal? We're business people, so we don't waste time. If you have a question, just mention your name. 1 man, 1 woman, 1 minute, 1 question. Somebody will take the roving. So on this central block, we have only 1 person before we go to the next one. Just this central aisle. Only 1, 2, okay, 2. We'll take those 2. Name, 1 question, 1 minute. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Thank you. My name is Abolade Bibi Anthony. Think Unlimited Consulting. My patriotic duty makes me ask this question. China's approach to AI is self-reliance and infrastructure. Their AI models do not rely on foreign technology, specifically in semiconductor chips, computer power, and AI models. So for us to have data sovereignty in our nation, we need to build our own infrastructure. And so what are we doing about that? And just as a side note, we're here to help. You said you wanted to partner, right?
Thank you. Who is, we're talking about data sovereignty. Who is a data specialist of the 3 of you who will take it? Just note it down. Well, I'll call it later. You are the data man. Next question, please. Yes. Name, and if possible, you can tell us who you want to answer your question. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, sir, my name is Dr. Davidson Isibo Ahimian, and I represent King David Group of Companies. Now, my question is actually to the entire high table there. First, I am very grateful to the LCCI for the bill that's been forwarded. As a veteran myself, I consider it a great privilege to, to see this happen today, and I pray that that bill is passed. Now, I'm trying to bring about a question that has to do with the private security industry in Nigeria. The private security industry protects the bottom line of businesses in Nigeria. Unfortunately, it will appear that this sector has been, undermined by the federal government of Nigeria. There is a nexus between security and business, private security especially. But we have not been crafted into the national security architecture of this country. And so when we are talking about securing businesses and you don't have participation, direct participation and recognition of the private security sector from the federal government, it becomes difficult. Today you are talking about civilian vigilantes and the rest helping in fighting insurgencies out there in the northeast and the northwest. There are areas where private security practitioners can be of assistance to the military authorities, intelligence gathering, intelligence dissemination, after operations, sweeping of localities, and stuff like that, but they have not been recognized. So I'm challenging the armed forces to see how they can incorporate private security, organize private security. They are regulated by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. And I want to end this question by also bringing another leg. We provide escort services to investors in Nigeria, foreign investors and the rest. With the recent withdrawal of the police by the President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, we don't have policemen at our disposal now to use for escort duties. We have members of the Security and Civil Defense Corps. But the armed squad is so small that we don't have enough civil defense officers, armed civil defense officers to carry out this very critical area of our duties. So why can't the federal government begin to look at certain private security companies to license ex-servicemen who will find employment in these private security companies and have an armed squad for select private security companies? They'll be licensed to bear arms and they carry out these duties. This is just my proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We allowed you for more than 1 minute because you said you are a veteran, even if you didn't look as old as one. Only one more on this side before we move to the next block. Thank you. Your name, your question, 1 minute.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Adironke Josie Ademi. My question is really around data ownership and privacy. And it's to you, sir, actually, given that you are clearly the business person on the panel. Who actually owns the data in Nigerian corporates? Is it the customer? Is it the organization? Or is it individuals? Thank you.
The president will handle that, yes. The veteran question will be handled by the military. Good, that's 3 there. On this side, we have 3. Yes, there's a very familiar sister here. Please give it to her.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Miss Yemisi Ransom Kuti. Thank you, Chairman, for that recognition. And this opportunity for stakeholders to engage with the security architecture in Nigeria is really very important. I'm a co-founder of Lagos Island Connect, and I'm so happy to hear that the new AIG is from Lagos Island. So this question is actually for the police representative.
Police,
here.
please take note.
Yes.
You'll answer that. Yes.
We have been complaining for a long time about abandoned buildings on Lagos Island and the activities of the area people, because they're both boys and girls. I want to find out whether you will take decisive action to secure Lagos Island, because the abandoned buildings have become the havens for drug addicts, for miscreants, for criminals, traffickers, and maybe the NDLA would want to also pitch into this question. It's a real problem in Lagos Island, drug abuse and the correlation with criminal activity.
Okay.
So what are you going to do so that by the time we have the next security meeting, you'll be able to give us very, very positive responses to how you've dealt with the situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, very clear. Nobody on that block, that's good. So we go to this last block here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, wow. Let's take these ones, start from here, please. Your name, your question, and if anybody should answer, indicate. 1 minute max.
Yeah, thank you, the chairman, sir. And the president, I guess, for these opportunities. You know, it comes once in a year, which of course is usually looked forward to. And my question goes to the Army in particular. It goes thus. If Google provides navigation maps, the space infrastructure provides the photographs and the videos of every nooks and cranny of the earth. And drones can be used for reconnaissance. Why is it difficult to eliminate our terrorists with preemptive strike rather than waiting for United States of America to come and do that on our behalf?
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, okay. Next person, the one in, oh, where are you going to, okay, yes.
My name is Ambassador Kola Aderibigbe. I'm the Vice President, Lcci. I first of all appreciate our security personnel. I can say wholeheartedly it has really improved and is encouraging businesses. However, my question goes to the NDLEA representatives regarding the illicit drugs that littering all our communities, affecting all our children. And I think, I don't know what level, I appreciate what you'll be doing, but there's still a lot to be done. How is your agency partnering with the foreign companies, more especially countries like India, like China, where all these illicit drugs are coming in from? It come form of a tablet, in form of a sweet, it come of a different, and they come into the country and it's damaging our youth. A lot is happening. So we just need to know, sir, so that we can have a very sane society. Thank you.
Very good, very ambassadorially constructed. Last person on that place now? Right, the lady in green.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ogona Mobi, and I run an interior design brand. My question is, what formal channels will exist for Lagos-based businesses to contribute ideas, feedback to security agencies so that policies reflect the realities of businesses operating here in Nigeria, especially in Lagos?
Right. Okay, are you directing that to anybody? Otherwise, we let the police handle it. Okay. Oh, you're there. Okay, right?
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning. My name is Amaka Ogobidike. I work with Melvin Africa. We are a business process outsourcing firm, and we are focused on citizens' experience. You know, everything we do about security is to secure the citizen, and I'd like to know what's the channel of communication, like to the, everybody have mobile phone somehow in Nigeria today. What number can somebody on the street call when they are faced with a security crisis? Thank you.
Also police, good.
Thank you.
We'll quickly now go to some kind of wrap-up responses. And in wrap-up responses, usually, I was going to complete this. Remy, you want to say something? Is this from the Old Testament or New Testament? Okay.
Thank you. The growing number of street beggars on all our streets, energetic street beggars, young and old, it's become a worrisome problem, particularly when you go into the evening, night period. It's dangerous. What can be done? Thank you.
Right, okay. So we'll go in this way. We'll listen to the Admiral first, then we'll listen to NDLEA next, then we'll listen to the police and their responses. We'll come back here, listen to the President, and round up with the General. Yes, Admiral? A few short sentences. The problem is that we can't resolve all the issues in this one session, but we can give headline information. Admiral?
Thank you very much, the Chairman. I would like to attack first the question asked by Abolade on how do we ensure data sovereignty. Thank you very much. I am sure you know that we have what they call the National Cyber Security Policy. You know, cyber security falls within the entire structure where it provides for, data protection laws and all that. Coming down to the armed forces, we have, Nigeria, for instance, has what they call the Cyber Warfare Command that ensure that all data-related issues, all elements of that structure is well provided. So we have a structure that takes care of that. I don't think I can begin to count them one by one to ensure the safety of data. We need to be in the classroom to tell you what you should do to protect data. It all falls within our Cyber Warfare Command. Even in the units also, we have a desk officer in the Army, in the Navy, and in the Air Force who caters for cyber-related issues. I think in Nigeria we are making advances on how we can better protect data. Thank you very much.
Good. LDLEA?
I think the first person that asked the question and the second one, they are all, if I am to reframe your question, I can say maybe you are just asking a question about use hard drugs and what are we doing about that. Am I right? Yeah, in NDLEA, to be specific, Lagos Strategic Command, I think in the area of enforcement, we are trying our best. We are actively in arresting these drug barons, intercepting consignment and arrest and seizing these drugs. And on daily basis, we go to court for prosecution. And the area of awareness, that is the other aspect of our mandate, because we have dual mandates. Supply reduction that has to do with enforcement, arrest, seizure, prosecution, and forfeiting assets for these drug barons. And the other aspect is drug demand reduction, where we do awareness campaign, enlightenment campaign, of which, when I assume office, I tasked my area commanders. We have 13 area commands in the whole of Lagos. Only 13 area commands, of which I think is not enough. If we should have an office in each of the local government, that 20 local governments we have, I don't think that one will be enough. But the one we have are just 13 local governments, so 13 area commands, of which I task them that on monthly basis I need minimum of 10 to 15 sensitization and advocacy. So in this area of sensitization, our awareness, we're also trying our best. Then area of collaboration, that I will commend the governor, the Mr. Governor, and the First Lady. They are really helping in this situation. They are really collaborating with us. And also the NGOs are also helping matters. And the law enforcement agencies, the time of joint operations, we always request for additional manpower from police, civil defense, and military. So that I think I will use this opportunity to even thank them and appreciate them for that. But I want to tell you that this issue of drug is not something that law enforcement agencies can handle alone. All hands must be on deck. Let me be specific. Parents, you see, this rehabilitation center treatment is not helping matters, and it's too expensive. So the best is for us to see how we can bring prevention. And prevention starts from home. Look at your children. What are they doing? If they go out, for example, I will always tell my wife that anytime my children are back to school, more especially those ones that are in boarding school, that she should, anytime they are not around, they should check their bags. If they see anything strange, then it's better you act very fast. But the issue is, if you say you will leave everything for law enforcement agents, honestly speaking, it will not work. So all of us, we must be very active in the war against drug abuse. Thank you very much.
So all of us must be active. Police, are all of us active? Please give him the mic to address those questions pertaining to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. There's one single question for the police, and I think that question comes from Madam because our office is located within the Lagos mainland. Yes, we have been receiving complaints and petitions concerning abandoned houses where people of questionable characters abide most times, and also of recent under the railway bridges where some people take over and are still taking over. So before the AIG travel last week we had, when we received the petition O2, he called on the two commissioners of police who are under his watch, that is Lagos and Ogun State, and brought this same complaint, and we sat down together to see what can be done about it. It has to do with Lagos and Ogun. The two states have similar issues. So that was the reason why the IG decided to bring the two of them. In the first place, the proposal is that is made, and that a task force to be headed by the OC task force in Lagos State, and the chairman of Rapid Response, RRS, to mobilize their men for interim, because it's going to be another committee, a big committee that has to do with the Ministry of Lagos, Department of Urban Development in Lagos, and the security agencies. So, and it is going to, according to the AIG, that we need to go on the air also, that to make people who are residents in such areas to be giving the security agencies and information, intelligence, because some of these people, you may not see them in the afternoon. As early as 5 o'clock, they are out of the place. So, but what happened in between nights? They may be there, only God knows what they are doing in the afternoon. So, it has been arranged now in the next maybe 1 month or so, the task force will commence work, and you may see, and I wish you see a lot of differences. In fact, the AIG is emphasizing, especially on this rail, people who are living under the rail and the bridges. It is like they made the place to be their permanent home. Some of them don't even know where they come from. So there is need for the Lagos state government, and also I believe there are some in also Ogun, to make sure that all these people are being moved out, may be rehabilitated, so that they can be of use to the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's listen briefly to the president.
NCDC has a comment to make on the private security.
The civil defense person is there. But you look so calm, as if you have nothing to defend. Thank you. 1 or 2 sentences.
Not so, sir. Concerning the question relating to private security industries in Nigeria, presently the government is looking into it. The Honorable Minister of Interior had a stakeholders meeting recently with all private guard companies. And because of the security challenges in the nation presently, he has decided that there should be a review of the act that set up the private guards security. And they want to now inculcate having private investigators and also digitalizing the issue of private guard licensing, so that it will be more easier for indigenous Nigeria to participate. And also to curb the issue of those who are not competent or qualified to set up private guard companies. There have been a lot of infiltrators in the past. And this time around, the minister, through the stakeholders meeting, he has noted some things, and he has made some recommendations to the federal government, which will sooner or later be unveiled concerning the issue of private security companies and those who want to set up, as well as having a kind of a forum whereby more security who are in the private sector can be involved, other than just those who are operating private guards alone.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, this is the first time our president is sitting as our president. Is the latest brand new. And he's going to make a few comments. Even before he does it, let's honor him with some little bit of applause.
Thank you very much, sir. First of all, the lady behind the lady. You talked about your data, who owns the data. You own your data, really. The data belongs to you. And in Nigeria now, we have so many of the data center, private and government. Galaxy backbone is government. And in Lagos, I think there are a lot of about 2 or 3 data centers, not just serving Nigeria, but serving Africa. You know your data is as private as far as it's legal. If the activities in the data is illegal, then government may be interested. But if your activities is legal, you know it's very private. First of all, this is not first of time, but we have to know why we are here. We're actually here for this special edition because of the bill. The chairman has appreciated our armed forces and law enforcement agents. In the last 10 years, today I had to rush here. I don't know whether I woke up by 5 o'clock in order to be here early, because I know the military people will always get here early. They take it very, very serious. And I will say thank you once again. It is a way of appreciating them. For the past 10 years that have been our partner, and we want them to know that we care so much about them. I thought most of us here, we ask more questions about the bill, because we look at the bill, the first reading of the bill, we were in the house, it has been tabled before you. You are the businessman, you are the one that told us, you are the one that approved this bill, that this bill should go for second reading, third reading, fourth reading, until when government or the president has said to the bill. I was expecting some question based on the bill, even on the summary that the DG have said, but time has gone. The bill is available. Any contribution before he go for his first reading, which I have told we will be ready to have it. Thank you very, very much for being patient to be part of it. And I hope the bill will represent you and represent your aspiration, and to show that we actually appreciate our people. Thank you.
Yes, now we listen to the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff. We all feel defended adequately.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, sir. I think I'll start from the last question posed by on the issue of why we wait for the United States to come and defend our nations for us. Let me stay categorically clear. Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and we don't wait for another sovereign nation to come and help us. The armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was established to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria. It is based on this and on the Constitution that the armed forces of Nigeria has been doing all that. And recently, I'm sure for the past 2 weeks, you've been hearing success stories from all the operations. The Chief of Army Staff doesn't even stay in the office. He's always in the field. Before the Americans came, we've been conducting several operations and we've been succeeding. We've been degrading these terrorists. But the issue there is that majorly these terrorists, once you start eliminating them, they cross the border into neighboring states. And you cannot infringe beyond that, except collaboration by at the strategic level, which the federal government is doing. So the narrative is not that Nigeria is waited for the US to come to. No, the armed forces is capable. The armed forces of Nigeria have succeeded in Liberia, Sierra Leone. Why not in Nigeria? That is why my chairman in his address said, when a spider brings his web together, they can tie or bind a lion. That means it's a whole of society approach to defeating insecurity in Nigeria. If you do your part, we do our part, there won't be any insecurity. So there's a gap. That is why these terrorists are leveraging on it. So please, the narrative should be changed. It's not that Nigeria is waited for. In fact, presently, they are not inside the operation area. They are not. They are collaborating with the armed forces of Nigeria, giving intelligence and other things. But they are not conducting operation on Nigerian soil. Thank you. Secondly, the issue of the veteran. The federal government has done a lot and is still doing. Yes, there are duplication of veteran association all over the country. That one I know because I'm the director, Veteran Affairs Division in Defense Headquarters. And the CDS himself is trying to reposition the veteran affairs. But for the veteran affairs that are established security company under the Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps law. The bill is still being I think they are still going through it. So there's no how the armed forces can make use of you. But however, the Ministry of Defense is presently setting up a committee, and they are looking to how the veterans can assist in national development and national security through establish the Defense Reserve to look at those veterans, police, other security, and the armed forces that are still capable, strong, that can act while they allow the combat to go to the field. Thank you very much.
Okay, so distinguished members of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and invitees, and these very special people around me on this table, we've had a few minutes of dialogue. It's been meaningful. The buzzwords have been: dialogue is important, consultation is important, patience to listen to one another is important, hope is important, innovation is important. Those are some of the takeaway words. We also realize, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that we can not solve all the matters arising at one sitting. But the questions now have indicated some of the perennial challenges we have. A few things I want to assure you, my dear brothers and sisters here. One is that when it comes to serious, and I mean serious, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, you know what I'm talking about, Ambassador, Vice President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce. When it comes to serious global issues, whatever it is, Chamber of Commerce, Rotary, United Nations, Africa and Latin America in the southern hemisphere have been out of the loop for the past 400 years. In other words, when major things are going on, Africa, Latin America have not been included. They have not been on the table. They have been part of the menu. And that's why it was possible in 1884. Some people in the Northern Aid Ministry came together and decided to just, as the French say, partager, to separate different countries in Africa and own them. The result is now that a Nigerian cannot speak to somebody from, say, Cotonou, unless he speaks French language and he speaks English. We're basically not Africans. We are products of 400 years of manipulation. Think about that. No matter how brilliant you are. And that's why the young man's question becomes relevant. Sovereignty. Sovereignty is deep in law, in international relations. The Yoruba people say, if you cannot find the handle of the machete, you cannot be asking, who killed your father? Africans have not found that handle yet. But I tell you, there is hope. Why do I say so? From time to time, certain things happen in the world that favor certain populations and certain areas. In those days, it used to be just analog. 2 + 2 is this, you press some things, and in those days, you are carrying files all along and so on. But then it became digital. And another part of the world became more digital than the others, and they owned the power. Then came somebody called Albert Einstein, the prodigy, who then discovered his formula that changed the whole world, which is E is equal to mc squared. That is to say, energy is equal to mass multiplied by the speed of light squared. Again, another part of the world gained advantage of that, and they used it into nuclear weaponization and to intergalactic travel. You sit here, and because of the application of E is equal to mc squared, you can send some material here to travel for the next 2 years to Mars, to Venus, and so on. We are still here having trouble. It's traveling from Lcci to Lcci. Now, but a third wave is coming now, and I want you people to know. Africans have a critical mass. They seem to be gifted when it comes to artificial intelligence. Please note that. You will find that in those days, things used to travel by arithmetical progression. Then it became geometric progression. Then it came to trigonometric progression. But now, in the digital age, you cannot predict. And artificial intelligence has arrived. It has been proved that the best people in artificial intelligence are the people of our color, located, surprise, surprise, in some parts of Africa. You will notice that some people in artificial intelligence business have come to Lagos to purchase some of your businesses at high prices. Now, but because the African man is used to just selling raw material and not processing it, we stop there. Of this population, it is the younger generation that is specially gifted. You are young. So instead of asking for sovereignty, get it, create it, innovate it, not only as single, but en masse. The world will come to your door. It is a turn of you younger people so to do. This may sound like a very simple statement to you, but I tell you with a lot of profundity that that is the way. It may not be understood by many people now, but AI is for the African youth. Anyway, we're just talking. It's been a day, and I look around, I think of the last 10 years. I congratulate all of you for being here. It reminds me of a young person like you who died at the age of 26, a British young man who had ambitions and wrote very many poems and a lot of literature. When he was writing these ones, he was criticized heavily by the press. And he actually died discouraged at the age of 26. But later on, like other things happen, his works resurrected. Now, one of his works was called Endymion. And from that work called Endymion has come a phrase, an expression that is now globally accepted and utilized. What is that expression? It says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. I have looked around here today. I have seen a thing of beauty. Young people full of hope. Old people still well dressed as if they are the youngest in the world. And a whole assembly that looks like a good tapestry. Nigeria has it. All Nigeria needs to do is put itself together. And we will. Then we will become a beauty. May Nigeria become a thing of beauty, and may we have joy forever. I appreciate all of you coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. On that note, we would like to call it a wrap for today. But just before we moved out, I'd like to ask that we please put our hands together for the Deputy President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Prince Abimbola Olaniyi Olashore, FCA, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. From the program, he said I'm to do closing remarks and vote of thanks. But I think the first place for me to start with is to recognize and thank the chairman. And I'm so glad that he said it, that without DNA, he is my father. That even if you have not said it, me, I am claiming to be your son, even if you don't acknowledge or say it publicly. But it is a statement of fact that he is indeed my father from many perspectives. He's somebody that is very, very close to us as a family. So brought from afar and from near quarters, I have been admiring him. He's gotten to an age where I believe that if I can get to his age and still look so beautiful, and still look so energetic, it still comes out, and it comes with all these nuggets of wisdom. Each time he picks up the mic to speak, I always pick up my pen, because you'll always go with one or two things. Today, I will go about quoting things of beauty. His joy what? Forever. I think I'll put that in my pocket. Never, never, never give up. Even though he ascribes it to Winston Churchill, I love to say the life of Prince Julius Adelusi Adoye is one that also reflects that. One of abiding hope and optimism about this country of Nigeria. Sometimes what I find interesting, he looks at me and keeps on saying young man. And I'm asking myself, at this my age, is he calling me young? And you can see I addressed all of us here. And we are also looking at some people who are saying, you young people coming behind us. I mean, but clearly you inspire us in that at the end of the day, we have no other country than Nigeria. And invariably, it's for all of us to make the best of it. So first of all, a round of applause for the chairman of today, who for the past 10 years have been chairing this occasion. While I say never give up, Lcci has been championing, we used to have it, the cost of doing business. And we bring in, even the presidency had a unit to address cost of doing business. Anytime when they say the cost of doing business in Nigeria, it revolves around, oh, we lack infrastructure. If fully the infrastructure was there. After some time, it became macroeconomic indices. If only the exchange rate was stable. If only interest rates are lower. All of a sudden, we are having a conversion on a number of all those issues. Nobody can deny that infrastructure is being worked upon. Economic stability that we've been praying for is almost with that. I was speaking to Dr. Tokwe Fashua when he came in. And when he spoke, I said, people believe that my comments to you is as if I had a sneak preview of your speech. In that today, we speak about macroeconomic stability. For some of us, it's not very proper to say, you don't want Naira to appreciate too much from where it is today. Let's have a bit of stability. Interest rates are coming down. And it reminds us of around that 2003, 2004, after the debt reschedulement. Well, all of a sudden, Nigeria was a ascendancy of economic growth. It was as if the gods were converging on the country. And we all felt Nigeria, nothing can go wrong. When things certainly went wrong. We're all praying that what we are enjoying now is something that will be sustained. Which brings me to what we are doing today. Without security, both real
and in the minds of people in terms of perception. This cost of doing business in Nigeria, we'll find it difficult to bring down to such a level that will attract both the necessary investment, both by domestic investors and foreign investors in this country. And that is the context in which we'll talk about this program today, which is LCCI Security Meets Business. We really have to do something about that, in that at the end of the day, the risk premium that we are paying as a country will first be rated if we deal with the perception of security. Sometimes I tell ourselves that Nigeria is not the most insecure place in the world. Investments still find its way to Congo, to Sudan, to Iraq, to Syria. So why can't investment come to Nigeria? It has to do with perception. And sometimes we have to deal with the issue of perception. And that's how we must situate what we are doing today. That perception is also something that we must deal with. Which brings me to why I must also thank our representatives from the security forces, the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, the IG of Police, NDA, LEA, and the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps. You being here also shows and underscores your own belief as well, that you must interact with the members of the private sector. Like I said, if it's even just to give us that reassurance and to lower the temperature in the room, that security is being dealt with. Because when you perceive that things will be positive and things are going to be rosy, there's nothing any human being can do. It's an area we cannot do on our own. As businesses, we can try and cost it. But by the time we put the cost of security or deal with the perception of security, the cost of doing business, we now realize that the price we are paying is indeed too high. So I really must thank you for being here with us and really must appreciate all you are doing. I must thank the Office of Vice President in his absence, Dr. Topo Ifashua, for the speech that he gave. He gave us hope. He really reiterated exactly what they're doing. But like I tell him, we all can see what you're doing. All we are saying is, please, at the government level, please don't bungle things up for us. We don't want to come back again in another 10 years and say, oh, in 2026, things were so rosy. So what happened? Because that is what we are saying sometimes when I look at the past 10, 15 years. What really happened? That was the time Nigeria was growing about 7-8% per annum. And we thought it was something that we sustained. All of a sudden, we started going to negative rates. So we are saying the period that we are in, we should not bungle it up. We must really now build on some of the things that we have done. I must look at the LCCI family. Thank you for sustaining this. We are the young ones coming up. This is a program that was started over 10 years ago, but it is indeed a program that we believe it's something that we'll keep on talking about. When I see my father here, Dr. Remi Alo, like you rightly said, still looking more, very much panache and dressing in a manner that we young ones, we tell ourselves, oh, we still have a lot of things for us to learn from you. I thank you for your wisdom, having part of us. Ashuaju, Dr. Makalawa Cole is here as well. Patron, past president, leader in so many places. Thank you for being with us. When we come and get together and we see you in the room, we are reassured that we have the bucket of those on whose shoulders we are in this we are standing. To members of the audience, you've made very insightful comments. You have commented, and I'm sure your contribution and the comments made have been well taken. And again, the key for me in most of these issues is that list out all the questions we've asked today. When you come back next year, you just start ticking which ones have been dealt with. Do you get it? And I'm sure there'll be questions that will turn up in a year's time that we did not ask today. If you had come to this room 2 or 3 years ago, nobody's going to ask you a question about artificial intelligence. Nobody's going to ask you a question about data integrity. At that time, we're talking about, there are armed robbers at my doorstep. What that tells you is that there will always be issues. And I believe this topic and what we're talking about today will be something we'll keep on doing year in, year out. For the management of LCCI, the DG, and the team, thank you for sustaining some of the things that we do. The press, again, give this very wide coverage. I believe that sometimes it is for us to lower the temperature of the conversation around security. There's nothing happening in Nigeria that's not happening from all over the world. But sometimes we go on and on about our own issues. Let's lower the temperature a bit. Let's work with the security agencies. Let's all work together in ensuring that we create an environment that will prosper us for all of us. On that note, I thank you all for being part of this year's program, and we look forward to welcoming you again next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Omaba, for that vote of thanks. We'd like to officially close this. Remember, we began with national anthem. It's our custom here to also end all of our official event with the national anthem. Please, can I ask that we please be upstanding as we take the national anthem for a close.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Those tried and found may deliver, in brotherhood we stand. Nigeria's home and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you so much. For the members of the press interview, will you want us to do it here or outside? Okay.